Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.
A once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise. Author Angela King James presents Fire. Get it on Amazon, on paperback, or Kindle. Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. Peace to my brother Big Dog Philly OG. Peace to the good brother Keith West. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, it's been a adventurous week, an eventful week. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I am all polite out. I'm polited out. I'm not going to dwell on the plea deal that he took. I have very little to say about it. He took the plea because the evidence would have been damning. That's my sentiment. My sentiment also is that he needs more than some prison time for what he did to the little girl. And this is my last sentiment on that, because people can speak and say a whole lot. It's not going to mean nothing if you're not carrying anything into action. Sick of hearing about polite. My last sentiment is, I hope that he has a very strong welcoming committee awaiting his arrival to the state pen. And I hope that they really, really, really welcome him. That's my last sentiment about that dude. I'm going to play a little music, community music, that is. And then I'm going to get into the subject matter. Peace to the brother Big Dog Philly OG. I want to play my brother Chris Cyphers.
You ain't getting money, what you call it? Bank got a flow, no rap, no faucet. Mama told me always get my fruit from the market. Empire mind state, roots from the garden. Motherfucker, why lie to a lame? No, the presence of a king make a nigga think raincoats. Still make a hater do his thing though. Still make a hater do his thing, yo. Yo, I'm back on that reload. Full clips send me yo when they deep blow. Deep rolls got your deep code. For that mellow, I say hello, then Prestigious from the free throw. Sour face, lady off the lemonade. Yeah, I'm still on my Jay-Z renegade. Pick a day, outbox niggas, come get a clip of fade. Win bets off myself, then fill it in a play. The outfit make the chick converse, and I had one on my hip, but you skip that first. Yo, I'm
Peace to my brother. Ron, Slap Power God. Salute to you, good brother.
Do views so colossal. Every time I get a Dutchin like these Instagrams they follow. Y'all looking at today, well my vision see tomorrow. I get mines, no borrow. You ain't getting money, what you call it? Ain't got a flow, no rap, no faucet. Mama told me always get my fruit from the market. Empire mindset, roots in the garden. Motherfucker, why lie to a lame? No, the presence of a king make a nigga think raincoats. Still make a hater do his thing though. Still make a hater do his thing, yo. War dog on the instrumental, y'all. Do better music, always shine or the mall. Think about a Cuban, that's the bulls up the ball. So I can make sure you niggas see me from afar. And I can shine without jewels like a god. They see the aura, chill as the corner. I'm honest, there's a difference in your real, cause you're sorta. This was reality, TV, your portion. Read the lies, nigga, we peep the skies. Can't let you roll with the crew, my peeps are high. Good vibes, regular dude, these equal eyes. Unless you talk down in the void, the eagle eye. Awful, fix your face when I walk through. Stun on you lanes, that's what a boss do. Stop making assumptions off of small clues. Investigate your life, I got my own view. Yeah, I got my own business, so I stay in mines. People out there worried about negativity. Your focus needs some readjustment. Get money. You ain't getting money, what you call it? Ain't got a flow, no rap, no faucet. Mama told me always get my fruit from the market. Empire mindset, roots from the garden. Motherfucker, why lie to a lame? No, the presence of a king make a nigga think raincoats. Still make a hater do his thing though. Still make a hater do his thing, yo.
More Chris Cyphers.
Let go. Cyphers. Shutty yes, I'm an MC and let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. Let get it. Shorty ass, I'm an MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it. Let get it, yeah. Once again, I'm out with the gang, let's get it. No recession money ain't a thing, let's get it. No time given to a lane, let's get it. Let get it. Shorty ass on my MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it. Money in my bank, chubby with the cake. Pull it out for haters cause they hate. Gotta fix your face, number 4 gorilla in this train. Yeah, I'm about to take off, let get it through your brain. We will never hang. I don't do TikTok, my watch do the same. Niggas like flip-flops, they sliding on game. You need a pit stop, get up off my wave. Rappers not this high, no, I don't see flame. No, they complaining cause they do it on my own. Got a lot of mouth, but I don't see you on. Why these niggas still fake for the brand? Getting used by the ops once again. You will never ever know. Never ever. I got mega weather flow. I got a mission to boat. All I need is some fine women willing to go. Let get it. Shorty ass on my MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it. Let get it, yeah. Once again, I'm out with the gang, let's get it. No recession money ain't a thing, let's get it. No time given to a lane, let's get it. Let get it. Shorty ass on my MCM, let get it. Mommy wanna ride with him, let get it. 10, 20, 50 Benjamins, let's get it.
Dangerous music.
I'ma kick your motherfucking ass. Big ass head. Look at your hairline. Your shit is fucked up. Your shit is way back here. You in the army, you have to speak like this. Yes, sir. You ain't got a phone head, you got a mind head. Really suck. I feel when you have dreams, you don't have dreams, you have movies.
When you find yourself with your gun drawn, it's when the love gone and the pain form. Bad thoughts make a dark cloud. Don't fuck around and get rained on. Hell boy, let the Nina sing. Feel the breeze underneath the wings. Treat your town like Stephen King. Set up shop to sell needful things. Step on my toes, there them shots go. Guns with high lows, nigga, we got those. Letting them all fly, hitting them my foes. Cause niggas you let slide be Donnie Brasco. Make a movie out of these niggas, they can't move. Checkmate across the board, we can't lose. Death day sent for niggas in black suits. Quiet kill signs is getting attached to. The front seat is what you dying on. He was riding calm and got fired on. Them niggas too, that was in the coupe. Got caught up in your ride along. I assassinate when they recorded me. But these gunshots will be the next hit. I just hope you niggas move accordingly. Cause we all can see you made a death. Y'all niggas can't move the way I move. Y'all niggas can't do the things I do. I'm talking about cruising altitudes. I'm talking about cruising avenues. I'm talking about pulling up on me. You breaking all the rules and I'm a shoe. I'm talking about cops and camera crews. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm talking about cops and camera crews. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm talking about cops and camera crews. I'm about to make a movie out of you. Your girl said you was an X-Man, so I pulled up in first class. She told us where to find you at, so niggas pulled up in the purge mask. The bomb dropped, you never heard rap. Now these niggas get served bad. When it goes down, niggas hurt sad. But it ain't my fault when you dirt trash. Being broke to make a crime move. Then it comes a point when it's time to
Salute
when
to my
niggas
brother,
have to get a bigger gap.
the
Go
realest
to war
McCoy.
with the world like Tom Cruise. This fake shit, it don't mean much. Just a bunch of shit we could do
Thanks for
without.
coming through.
Things fly when niggas run their mouth. A bunch of dead niggas to make a move. Y'all niggas can't move the way I move. Y'all niggas can't do the things I do. I'm talking about cruising altitudes. I'm talking about cruising avenues. I'm talking about pulling up with me. You breaking all the rules and I'm a shoe. I'm talking about cops and camera crews. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm talking about cops and camera crews. I'm about to make a movie out of you. I'm about to make a movie out of you.
Salute to all the family in the listening audience. In this series, Corrupt to the Core, this is part 6. And I want to speak about the soft targets and the cowards that bully them. Speaking about children, speaking about the elderly, speaking about women. In particular, women are women who are with child, pregnant with our unborn children, who they don't even have no regard for. Speaking about race soldiers, they don't even have any regard for. They can be pregnant and they'll be thrown to the ground, landing on their stomach. They can be pregnant, they can be thrown down, knee to the neck, and being tased in their stomach. And if there's ever a time for one of us to put it all on the line, is when something like that happens. I've seen situations where a couple is out, and salute to Chief 18 Wills. I've seen situations where couples were out and they had an encounter with the police, and the police attacked the woman. Automatically, my senses go in is when they talk reckless to our woman, they raise their voice at our woman, or especially if they aggress our women violently, they're trying us. They're trying to see what we're going to do. That's just how I think. If you are with your woman, regardless of who this man is or his profession, his job, whatever, if he shouts at your woman, pointing his finger at her, or he grab her and handle her aggressively, that's trying you. To me, that's trying you. And we should not stand idly by, regardless, and let anyone attack our woman. Now, I'm not speaking about the young lady at Brickgate. I'm not saying she deserved to get hit with the brick, but what I'm saying is, if it's my wife and I'm out with her, and if we have an encounter with the pigs, the bully with guns and badges, and he start yelling and screaming and pointing his face, putting himself in my wife's face, or pointing his finger in my wife's face, he's trying me. And if he aggress her violently, he, in my honest sentiment, is he's about to kill me by doing that. Because with everything I have, 6'4", 250 plus pounds, is going right to his temple, with the lead two knuckles going straight to his temple. I will try to knock his eyebrow off his face for getting loud with my wife. But these guys, now just say if a police officer gets a domestic violence call, they show up with the self-righteous behavior. You shouldn't put your hand on the woman. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And they're correct. But they put their hands on women. Chief 18 Wills, I'm that size, but I'm not that age, brother. I'm telling you, I'm not that age. They put their hands on women, and they'll put their hands on somebody else's woman. And if you read the statistics, men who beat their wives the most are police officers. It get covered up when the wife go and try to report it. They get convinced not to file charges, or it gets straight up covered up. Now, you have to know that I have video footage to prove what I'm talking about, how wicked and bullying these pigs are. These people who are not worthy of being called law enforcement or public servants. I keep telling our people, when we say divorce the system, When we say corrupt to the core, the enemies, public. All those who were supposed to be public servants, serving the people, serving the public, are actually serving to our detriment. So the enemies, public, out in the open, chest out, overtly, serving to our detriment. Now, I'm going to play a few videos of examples of the aforementioned title, Corrupt to the Core, Soft Targets, our pregnant women, our unborn, aren't even safe from the race soldiers.
Proves that this officer lied on a police report, which is why he's being charged with battery and official misconduct.
25 years. Okay, so whatever you want to do, pull me out the car, go ahead. Don't reach in my car. Why is I doing all that? You can't reach in my car.
Here is the video at the center of the arrest. The police report is from January 14th. The incident takes place at 5 in the morning at Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami Gardens, and the off-duty police officer working who writes the report is Jordi Yanis Martel.
The two videos you are about to see show a number of very different facts and circumstances.
Is it me, or does the Miami-Dade state attorney sound like she's been drinking?
Which call into question the truthfulness of the filed affidavit that was used to criminally charge Safia Satchel. Oh, he read.
Yes, he's one of the two police officers who have been fired over excessive force allegations in Miami Gardens. Back at Tootsie's, the report says the incident involved 33-year-old Safia Satchel, who was being disorderly and disrespectful towards staff members. The manager wanted her out. Yanis Martel says the woman purposely and maliciously struck me on the right part of my lower lip with a closed fist, continued to fight officers by kicking and punching.
Martel took Miss Satchel to the ground, and once on the ground, Martel allegedly used excessive force by
put his knee on her neck, and I believe they tased her also in her stomach.
putting his knee on Miss Satchel's neck.
This is video from the previous incidents and part of the reason Yanis Martel and Javier Castano were fired. Yanis Martel was hired in October of 2018 and in February of this year was being investigated by Internal Affairs for an improper procedure following a crash in his patrol car. The excessive force allegation was launched a month later. And this from the police union now representing that officer, the president Stepman Stahl, in part saying law enforcement officers are not above the law, but they deserve the same rights as any other citizen, and that is innocence until proven guilty. As for the...
Now that's a bunch of nonsense. When we encounter the police and they suspect us of doing something, it's guilty until proven innocent. Now this is such a cliche template of a statement that this wicked demon made. They're the same rights as any other citizen, but they're not. They are sworn officers.
The woman that you see in the video, we're told charges against her were dropped. Reporting live in Miami, I'm Hatsovella, Local 10 News.
Now we're going to another video in Miami-Dade.
Because ultimately, it's actions like this that let people know that, first of all, let officers know that if they're going to do bad stuff like that, it's not going to be acceptable.
New at 5, facing criminal charges. A
Same
Miami
city,
Gardens
same
police officer
situation.
taken off the streets last week, accused of kneeling on a woman's neck, is now on the other side of the law. The officer was working off duty at a club in Miami Gardens when the incident happened. CBS 4's Ted Scouten is live in Miami Gardens with the charges that officer now faces in this case. Ted.
Yeah, Lauren, the state attorney's office is saying this is just senselessly wrong. We're talking about an incident that happened here in this parking lot. This is Tootsie's Cabaret. Now, a former Miami Gardens police officer is under arrest, and we are seeing some new cell phone video that was crucial in the FDLE's investigation.
I got hit on her neck.
It's difficult.
Now, he's tasing her on her stomach, tasing her, while someone else have a knee on her neck. And these are two men on a woman.
To watch as Sophia Satchel is repeatedly tased after being pulled from her car while an officer's knee is on her neck. It happened in January in the parking lot of Tootsie's Cabaret. Former Miami Gardens police officer Jordy Yanis Martel is accused of giving false information on his report and using excessive force.
Once forcibly removed from the car, Martel took Miss Satchel to the ground. And once on the ground, Martel allegedly used excessive force by putting his knee on Miss Satchel's neck.
Why did he allegedly use excessive force? It's not alleged. We can actually see what these two demons are doing, and they are saying alleged. These bastards did that.
And drive tasing her 2 times.
Miami-Dade State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle said in the report, Martel said Satchel was resisting arrest, forcing him to use his taser twice. Investigators say the video tells a very different story.
Martel states that Satchel continued to fight by kicking and punching, and the video allegedly reflects that at the time of the first drive stun by Martel, Satchel was on her back, on the ground, with Martel's knee on her neck.
Then she was tased a second time.
At that point, she was not kicking the officers.
Just imagine, George Floyd had the knee in back of the neck. This cop's knee was on the front of her neck, straight up obstructing her breathing.
And at the time of the second drive stun, the situation had not changed. She was still not kicking the officers.
Satchel's attorney released a statement saying, in part, if you're an officer that has broken policy or acted under color of law with the belief that black lives don't matter, you ought to be looking over your shoulder because the chickens have finally come home to roost. Miami Gardens Mayor Oliver Gilbert says the arrest sends a message.
Ultimately, it's actions like this that let people know that, first of all, let officers know that if they're going to do bad stuff like that, it's not going to be accepted. But let members of the public know that there's going to be accountability built into this system.
The police union released.
Move on to the next video.
There's anger after this video emerged of a Florida cop dragging a pregnant woman out of her car before slamming her onto the ground.
I'm pregnant! I don't care!
The officer, Matthew McNichol, was allowed to return.
Do you hear what he said? He said, I don't care. That means he don't care that the woman, the sister, is pregnant, and he don't care about the unborn child that's in her stomach.
Before facing punishment.
New at noon, we're hearing from a woman who says she was tased twice by a now former Miami Gardens police officer who also kneeled on her neck. CBS 4's Ted Scouten.
Wrong video.
Tonight, tense video surfacing of a traffic stop involving a Miami man and his pregnant wife as they were driving to the emergency room. This comes after a recent viral video of a traffic stop in Bradford County involving another pregnant woman. On your side's Desi McKeever shows us what happened in the Miami case.
I honked at you very nicely one time for you to move out the way. He wants to continue. I have an emergency. That's why I'm at the emergency room for my wife.
A drive to the emergency room with his pregnant wife turns into a traffic stop for Kevin Enciso. He says he pulled up behind a Miami-Dade police officer who was having a conversation with another officer in the car next to him.
Now just imagine, this man is taking his wife to the hospital to have the baby. These guys is obstructing traffic, having a damn conversation, and when he honked to get the officer's attention to get out his damn way, this is what happened.
To him. Enciso blew the horn to alert the officer that someone was behind them. One of the officers gets out and asks for Enciso's license. He refuses to give it.
Let me have your license. Call your supervisor.
After Enciso refuses, the officer tells him to get out of the car. The July traffic stop becomes verbally heated, reminding attorney John Phillips of his most recent case with a pregnant mom in Bradford County. Cell phone video from last week showed a Bradford County deputy pulling a gun on the mom. The sheriff's office says he has since been fired.
Improper detention, unreasonable use of force, pulling guns on the innocent is assault.
Back in Miami, Enciso says his wife had an accident the day before and needed to get to the emergency room to check on the baby.
Oh, so you okay now?
I had an accident. Okay, I'll call my lawyer.
Instead of allowing the couple to get to the ER, the Miami-Dade officer calls paramedics. First Coast News crime and safety analyst Mark Bachman says the exchange was heated on both sides without reason.
Supervisor, if they're available, may or may not show up. But it could have been handled differently on both ends of this.
No. When the motorist honked at the cop should have just moved out the way and not try to pull the motorist over and exercise some perceived power over the motorist when he was clearly in the wrong for obstructing traffic.
Spectrum there.
The couple told our sister station, NBC Miami, that they did receive treatment, but they felt their civil rights were violated.
Every situation does not have to have a gun involved or screaming or sarcasm, because that's only going to escalate emotion.
For a bunch of power-hungry, condescending punks who's also scared to death, a gun has to always be involved because they know that they won't approach most people that they approach chest out without the weapons on their duty belt. They know they won't approach. I know for a fact they won't approach nobody like me without those weapons.
The Miami-Dade police told NBC Miami that they are launching an internal affairs investigation into this July incident. Destiny McKeever, First Coast News, on your side.
Are women and unborn children.
And new details this afternoon. The full review into the violent arrest of a pregnant woman caught on a police officer's body camera is now complete. The officer involved resigned before an internal affairs investigation into use of force was complete.
CBS 4's Brooke Schaefer is live in Miami with what's next in the case. Brooke.
They resigned because they want to keep their law enforcement's license. They can take it and go work somewhere else. But if they are fired, their license is revoked. They can't be an officer nowhere else. They still should be, because of his behavior, revoke his law enforcement license. So he can't be a cop anywhere else, on top of putting his ass in jail.
Well, Candace and Maribel, a civilian investigative panel said they are going to write a letter to the state attorney's office, strongly urging them to reconsider criminal charges against this now former police officer. I just got off the phone with a spokesperson for the SAO. They told me they haven't gotten a letter like that yet, but he said if they do, he is sure it will be strongly considered. Now, former Miami police officer Miguel Hernandez, as of right now, won't face criminal charges for this rough arrest in November 2020. The state attorney's office telling CBS 4 it declined to press charges against the Miami officer because the victim in this video would not cooperate. The disturbing body camera footage shows Officer Miguel Hernandez grab a handcuffed woman by the throat and throw her on the ground, knocking her unconscious for several minutes.
Now, he's a straight up bitch. He should have got straight up knee to his damn bridge of his nose for that.
A civilian panel in Miami yesterday essentially closed the case in the arrest. The panel voted for what's called a no-filing recommendation for the officer who quit in June last year, months after the incident.
Our ordinance doesn't allow us to make findings of facts for individuals that are no longer a part of the department.
2 other officers who were there when this happened were found to have followed improper procedure, including Officer Matthew Hall, who police said repeatedly muted or covered his body-worn camera. And Candace and Maribel, I confirmed with Miami police the officer who yanked that woman to the ground is getting a pension right now. So I called the pension board. They told me that their board is requesting some records from Internal Affairs.
He's getting paid a pension after this. After I thought you were supposed to retire, not be, resigning off the force in order to receive your pension. It has to be an eligibility to resign after a certain amount of years, as opposed to resigning because you're in trouble. But this guy should have been fired and arrested.
But in order to forfeit a person's pension, that person has to be convicted of a specified event. And again, at this point, this now former Miami police officer not facing any charges. I'm live in Miami. Brooke Schaefer, CBS 4 News.
Because they investigate themselves and they found no wrongdoing.
Right now at 5, a mom-to-be attacked in Miami Beach goes into labor.
I'm pretty overwhelmed at the fact that the incident had to happen, but, we forgive. We don't never forget.
Tonight, the late-night incident that led to an off-duty officer under...
That makes me so sick when our people do that. Forgive and not forget. You don't do neither one. As a matter of fact, when somebody victimizes you and do something to you this hideous, not only do you not forgive or forget, you get revenge.
Under arrest. Well, tonight, mother and her baby boy are doing just fine in the hospital.
The officer who was arrested is relieved of duty during the investigation. CBS 4's Peter Dench spoke with the new mom who was attacked. He's live tonight in Miami Beach with the exclusive interview. Peter.
Well, Ruta Van Elliott, the victim, told me that she and her boyfriend were walking down Washington Avenue just after 8:30 last night when they encountered the police officer and her sister, and that's when the whole incident happened. She says she is disappointed that she was actually struck by an officer and says that led to the premature birth.
I'm just happy he's a healthy baby.
Well, Fannie Murray was expecting her son Joseph Perdelis III to be born August 4th, but says doctors were forced to deliver him Wednesday night after she says his 26-year-old North Miami Beach police officer, Ambar Pacheco, struck her in the stomach.
It kind of troubles me to know that the people that's supposed to be protecting and serving.
Another template of a statement. These type of statements make me sick. When our people speak like this, they're not there to protect you. Most of them take the job because they get perceived power. They can care less about your rights. They can care less, even less about the damn law. These people don't give a damn about us. Law enforcement, they don't enforce the law anyway. They enforce policies. And they're race soldiers.
Serving are really the people that's hurting, but it's not all of them. I know one apple doesn't spoil a bunch.
Pacheco was charged with aggravated battery.
It's entirely too many apples in the bunch. If you look at the bunch and you count the bad apples, the whole entire, as a matter of fact, the whole damn tree needs to be chopped down. One apple don't spoil the whole bunch. It's too many spoiled apples to even save the tree. Chop the damn tree down, take a damn chainsaw to it.
Battery on a pregnant woman.
I'm pretty overwhelmed at the fact that the incident had to happen, but we forgive. We don't never forget.
The encounter happened here at Espanola Way and Washington Avenue. Pacheco told police that Murray's boyfriend, Joseph Prudelis, kicked her sister in the face. Pacheco stated, "I saw red," and beat the expletive out of her. Police found Murray in severe pain and having contractions. She gave birth to this child shortly after being taken to the hospital. Murray says there was no reason for the attack.
And they thought we were talking about them, but we weren't. And they just got belligerent, loud. They tried to basically jump me because they thought I said something.
She rejects Pacheco's claim that her boyfriend kicked her sister.
Why would he kick a female for if she wasn't doing anything? He was just trying to restrain the young ladies from doing anything to me or his child.
In the police report, Pacheco said she doesn't know who, but she kicked somebody. She's suspended from duty pending an internal affairs investigation.
No matter who you are, what occupation you have, battery, fighting, putting your hands on someone else.
Yawn, yada, yada, yada. Our people are too damn forgiving.
Because I didn't need to. I didn't feel like I needed to. And he was very rude and aggressive, and he wasn't polite at all.
Tonight, Boca Raton police continue to investigate the arrest of a pregnant woman who ended up on the pavement during a struggle with the officer who arrested her. The arrest was captured on video.
Police responded to a domestic disturbance call first 2 weeks ago at a Congress Avenue gas station. The caller claimed a man was beating on the hood of a parked car and that a small child was running around the parking lot unsupervised. Terry Parker spoke with the woman in the video and joins us live with new information from police. Terry?
Right, Todd, we're hearing more from that pregnant Delray Beach mother of 4 who says that Boca Raton police officer who put her on the ground during arrest in handcuffs and had a knee in her back. And she says when she said she was pregnant, he said he didn't care. She wants that officer fired.
Ma'am, I'm going to lock you up.
I don't care.
All right.
This is video of the arrest of Nerelia Laurent, 5 months pregnant, and now calling for more than an investigation.
Honestly, to me, I want him fired. Like, I think he should not be on the force anymore.
Laurent and her boyfriend, Harry Hardy, spoke to reporters outside of the Boca Raton police station 2 weeks after police responded to a disturbance called in by a bystander who said the couple was fighting at a mobile gas station, Hardy pounding on the car and a small child running around possibly in danger. Lawrence says they were just having a normal argument about their car breaking down.
We told them that everything was fine, everything was good, and
that wasn't enough for them. They wanted some heads to roll. It's crazy how the police want to be seen as these heroes and they don't do any heroism. I've seen videos where the police responded to someone who was suicidal and they ended up killing the person. Why did you come? If you ended up killing the person, you were no help. Somebody's suicidal. I've seen situations where the police was called for somebody mentally ill. They ended up killing the person. No expert on mental illness arrived. Police arrived with their guns out. As a matter of fact, last week in my very city, the one I live in, the police shot somebody who was mentally ill. He had a machete, but why do you always have to resort to deadly force? Whenever you shoot someone, it's deadly force. And I've seen police officers get stabbed, cut, punched in the face, kicked repeatedly, and they'll pull their taser out. Sometimes they'll pull their taser out and they'll put it away. But when it comes to certain people on site, like the brother in Elizabeth, New Jersey, they shot him and killed him on site as soon as they seen him.
Officer McNichol decided to get very aggressive. I kept telling him that I was pregnant and that it was hurting, and he told me that he did not care.
Police say Laurent and Hardy refused repeatedly to provide ID, even when officers told them they would be arrested. And that's when Officer McNichol, no first name provided, hauled her out of the car, put her on the...
You don't have to present ID unless you are being under arrest. They can't arrest you for not providing ID unless they have reasonable articulable suspicion. If they don't have that, you don't have to ID. Not providing ID is secondary after an arrest. They can't arrest you for not providing ID because not providing ID is a secondary charge after you're being arrested. They just can't walk up to people and randomly say, "What's your name?" and show me ID. And not only that, there's no such thing of a stop and ID state. It don't exist. They use that because some of us just capitulate because these people are law enforcement and we think that they know the law. They don't even know the law that they swore to enforce. They don't even know them.
On the ground and in handcuffs. I asked Lawrence why she didn't show her ID.
Because I didn't need to. I didn't feel like I needed to. And he was very rude and aggressive. And he wasn't polite at all.
Police say it turns out Lawrence had an outstanding warrant. After being taken to the hospital, she was arrested on charges of resisting an officer without violence. And Hardy, who police say first approached officers after being told to stop and then ran from them, was arrested for battery on a police officer. Both say they were treated unfairly and want a full investigation.
What I want law enforcement to take from this situation is that you can't just treat anybody any kind of way just because you have a badge and you have the authority to do so, or you think you do.
And Boca Raton.
Exactly. That's perceived power. A lot of them have this perceived power, and all they want people to do is listen to them, do what they tell them to do, even if it's an unlawful request. They still want you to just listen to them, and they are speaking. They try to speak fast like they know the law. They don't know most of the law. Most law enforcement, including the rank and file, the brass, the one who wear the white shirt, don't even know the goddamn law.
Police have launched an internal investigation, and the couple says they are pursuing a civil lawsuit. Coming up at 6, hear from a representative from the National Action Network, who is also calling for action. Live in Boca Raton, I'm Terry Parker, WPVF 25 News.
If there's ever a time for any one of us to put our hands up, it's when our elderly, our children, and our women are attacked. This man said he didn't care that she was pregnant, threw her to the ground, put his knee in her back, handled her rough. I wouldn't care if she wasn't pregnant. She still shouldn't have been handled that way. If you are a man his size and he don't know how to detain somebody her size, he shouldn't even be on the force. Shouldn't even be on the force. And what irks me about some of us, we like to fight each other, but we have an open and consistent enemy in people who walk around with this perceived power. It's perceived power to me. Because if you're not in the confines of the law, meaning that you didn't catch me doing a crime, I didn't commit a crime, you trying to victimize me, we are rocking. Because I know that you wouldn't approach me without all that on. And you think, see, the thing is, they think, and oftentimes they know that people are going to allow them to do what they do to them. But everybody's not like that. When these jokers want to fight, it's some brothers and sisters who will oblige them in their bullshit they want to throw down. It's some brothers and sisters that will oblige them if they want to fight. Always say, all I promise you is I won't start it. But you put your hands on me, or you put your hands on anything that's connected, anyone who's connected to me, We rocking. Don't care what your damn job is. You're going to work that day. You're going to remember that day. You came in that day. You're going to tell your grandchildren about this if I let you stay around. Yet when they put their hands on one of our children or our women like that, or our elderly like that, they are trying us. They're trying to see just how far they can go with us, and they're trying to see if we will oblige them. Because there's no reason for somebody who's not committing a crime to be treated like that. Or because she may be mouthing off or he may be mouthing off that they think they can hit, like the cop that punched the girl with the baby in her arms. Just punched her in the face out of nowhere. He got fired, but that should be the least of his problems. Getting fired. And it's crazy because these cops get fired, they move out of town. Why? Because their perceived power is no longer theirs, and they know they can't walk around. Because there's so much dirt in the city that they was in, they know they can't walk around, so they leave. Everybody who shot somebody in my city got out of town. They know they couldn't stay. This is not Law and Order where you shoot somebody and kill somebody, or you shoot somebody, you walk around like you didn't do anything. Because oftentimes it's unlawful anyway. It's never justify a clean shooting. They get out of here. They know they can't stay. But this system is corrupt to the core. And oftentimes they always push up on soft targets. It's never somebody who will oblige them if they want and they bullshit. They want somebody to comply with them, with their unlawful request. As soon as somebody they pull over, know the law, they get upset, they try to retaliate, and if that don't work, they back off. And then you get the brothers who just not having it at all. Let them know whether you're going to. I've seen brothers say, look, you put your hands on me, I'm going to defend myself. Which is a natural right. That's a right nobody could give to you or take from you. I repeatedly say this. The right to defend yourself is not a right someone can give to you or take away from you. That right belongs to you exclusively. Why don't we exercise that right? We mean mug each other all the time. We disrespect each other all the time, but we have an open and consistent enemy that seeks to devour us both. And all we can think to do is go at each other. This is The Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace. A once goal-driven, ambitious Sapphire turns to the street life after the sudden death of her big brother Dre. Dre's best friend Devontae tries to honor his homeboy's last request of looking out for his baby sister. A rebellious Sapphire makes it very difficult for Devontae to carry out his promise. Author Angela King James presents Fire. Get it on Amazon, on paperback, or Kindle.
Yo, the enemy's public, I gotta keep my eyes open. Pay attention, stop walking around like you blindfolded. This not the World Cup, but Nasir be kicking knowledge. This the type of information you can never learn in college. It's time to fight back, it's no more trying to play it cool. We got interviews, podcasts, and got the latest news. So sit back and relax, we about to get it started. Earth is a canvas, and guess who's the con artist? They brainwashing us, the system corrupted. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. You are now rocking with the enemy's public. I said you are now rocking with the enemy's public. Hey.